Our lead story tonight, well, rescue operations have begun to bring back Indians stranded in Sudan. Vishnu has all the details. Vishnu, what exactly is the situation in Sudan? We know diplomats being pulled out, and this issue of Indians being trapped there had become a huge issue, of course, for families and politics back home.
Yes, politics. But just keeping those politics aside, it is a very real concern because there are approximately 3,000 Indians in Sudan. The key point is not all of them are near Khartoum, and it is near Khartoum from where the evacuations are being organized. The Indian Navy has moved in to Port Sudan in a big way right now, and they've come in with a large offshore patrol vessel. The first group of Indians to be evacuated on an Indian naval platform will be on INS Sumedha. Two C-130J transports of the Indian Air Force have also been kept ready, not in Sudan but in the area. They'll fly into Khartoum whenever it is required to pull out more Indians, or perhaps elsewhere in the country as well. But airspace remains closed for the moment. But this is a major step, and it is a big step, and it comes at a time when a few Indians were managing to get out with the help of the French, the help of the Saudi Arabians. But the fact that you've got a large offshore patrol vessel, essentially a warship out there, means that many more would get evacuated in a finite period of time. Fighting continues on the streets of Khartoum. The Indian embassy, remember, is located near the airport. That is an area that's seen a lot of violence. In fact, our embassy officials are working from their homes in reaching out to Indian citizens and getting them to safety.
Right, and Vishnu, meanwhile, another story breaking right now, coming in, and this is actually really becoming bizarre, because now again there's a situation where a passenger has apparently relieved himself on a co-passenger on a flight. Now, it sounds funny, but it's actually horrible for both in terms of the crew, the passenger who's impacted, and again, this passenger is allegedly drunk. What details do you have?
No, it is absolutely shocking, and this has been happening all the time. This is what the third incident that's taken place. The previous two incidents had taken place on Air India, this one on an American Airlines flight from New York. The airline has filed a complaint after a passenger urinated on another passenger. This passenger was apparently inebriated. The passenger who apparently did this has been handed over to the police, who are investigating the issue. The airline, the Director General of Civil Aviation, believes that the airline has pursued this in a correct manner, and that the paperwork is accurate, and now legally it's going to be pursued. What we've also learned in just the last little while is that the Delhi police is looking at this incident, and while the airline has given them a complaint, there is no corroborative information from the passenger upon whom this particular passenger relieved themselves. So that's what we know, but again, a bizarre situation.
Right, Vishnu, thanks so much for that update. Well, moving across to the other top headlines. The Prime Minister on a two-day visit to Kerala today, beginning with a walkthrough through Kochi. Now, that's unusual because, of course, usually the Prime Minister's roadshow under heavy security, he stays in his SPG vehicle. But the Prime Minister stepping out and actually walking through the streets of Kochi there. A big focus on jobs today in the Prime Minister's rally speech. And he's also meeting 8 top church leaders. So with Vande Bharat, the Kochi Water Metro, the big Kerala focus from the centre. Let's just go across to Sneha and Sam for more. Sam, so we saw there the Prime Minister's Kochi, roadshow, but it's really about walking through the streets of Kochi. We can see crowds there. Remember now, Kerala is a state where the BJP has no presence, no MLA. What's currently happening? It's also interesting that he's meeting 8 top church leaders.
That's right. So when we speak to local political leaders and church representatives, they say that the BJP believes that this time it may not be able to win that kind of a big number the way it had won in 2024 and 2019, and that's why it's trying to look southwards and in Kerala, following particularly in the northeastern states where Christians are more in number. It's hopeful that we'll be able to make a dent here, and of course Christians here have a few concerns. One is what they call as persecution in several parts of the country against Christians. Secondly, the issue of cases against what they call as fake conversion, and that many say could be taken with the Prime Minister, besides the local issue of the pricing of rubber. But certainly the BJP is trying to use this as an opportunity to open the doors of talks, to open the doors of winning the Christian community's support to some extent. Will it work? So that's something we'll have to wait for. So far the bishops have not come into open and said what they had actually told the Prime Minister. But that's the bigger expectation. What the church had told, what the Prime Minister offered. Will this mean that there will be a shift in stand by the church, at least to some extent? Normally, Christians here are known to support the Congress for several decades here, and last time the Congress?
No, and of course, Sam,
here,
that point important that for the BJP, any improvement here will be a gain, considering they currently have no MLAs. And the Prime Minister speaking, of course, at Kochi as well. Now, this is Kerala's main commercial city, and his big focus was on jobs for youth.
केरला में जो सरकार है, उसका फोकस युवाओं को रोजगार और स्वरोजगार पर नहीं है। मुझे बताया गया है, केरला में ना रोजगार मेलों का आयोजन होता है और ना ही सरकारी भर्तियों पर उतना ध्यान दिया जा रहा है कि बीते वर्षों में केरला के युवाओं को नए अवसर देने के वो प्रयास नहीं हुए जो होने चाहिए थे। दो तरह की आइडियोलॉजी के संघर्ष में केरल का बहुत नुकसान हो रहा है। यहां एक आइडियोलॉजी है जो अपनी पार्टी को केरला के हित से भी ऊपर समझती है, वहीं दूसरी एक और आइडियोलॉजी एक परिवार को हर चीज से ऊपर रखती है।
So, Sneha, over to you, because of course we've seen in these 2 days the Prime Minister has a packed schedule. Today, of course, the road show, meeting youth and also meeting with church leaders. But tomorrow, the big focus is on development and infrastructure with the Kochi Water Metro and also the Vande Bharat, Kerala's first. Why is the BJP so keen to expand in the south areas, and why is this really their next big focus?
Well, Sonia, if you look at the numbers and the kind of challenge that the BJP has been facing down south has been much more when you compare it to any other part of the region, particularly if you also look at the numbers in the Lok Sabha vis-a-vis the states. It's a challenge in Telangana, Tamil Nadu, in Kerala as well. And if you're looking at Kerala particularly, you know, Kerala is not poll bound. So while there may be other states like Karnataka that are poll bound and PM and other BJP leaders are visiting the states very often. Remember, Kerala is not poll bound, and yet you have the optics, the scale of the optics that we really saw today. You had Prime Minister walking in Kochi's heartland, which also is Kerala's heartland, also a concentration of a large part of concentration of central Kerala vote bank for the minorities, and that perhaps also being important in the context of Prime Minister going and meeting church leaders. Again, church largely not speaking about it officially, being very quiet about it, but the optics and the messaging, at least BJP's attempt, is to be able to showcase that South divide and particularly the way in which the minority vote banks is very important across South, including Kerala, that BJP is in a position to be able to reach out to them. That's really the message that is being given, at least an attempt by BJP in Kerala and beyond in south of India. Also in terms of optics, while BJP will be focusing on, say, the Vande Bharat Express, the first for Kerala that Kerala is going to receive, there's already a lot of politics behind it. The left as well as the Congress there's been a slugfest on this, even the Kochi Water Metro, but all of this is very important for Kerala, you know, from what we are getting, it's record sales of tickets already for Vande Bharat. So a lot of claims are likely to be staked for what would be seen as the left's step forward versus what the BJP is trying to do in Kerala, reach out to the people, at least the presence that BJP tried to establish in Kerala
that point
today.
you're making, of course, that the left and the Chief Minister already making that point that the BJP trying to take credit for its development work. And of course, remember that Rahul Gandhi was disqualified, was an MP from Wayanad.
Correct.
So this, of course, key political state as well. And that point you made about the BJP in the south, with the current situation, they can only improve. That's why they're looking to make gains from here to offset what could be possible losses perhaps in some other states in 2024. So this is their big area for improvement. So Karnataka is the only southern state where the BJP is currently in government. No wonder the political battle here is really a tightrope fight. JP Nadda, the BJP president, spoke exclusively to NDTV as both he and Amit Shah are spanning the state with roadshows.
What's your BJP strategy for JDS and Congress stronghold?
You see, strategy is to meet the people. Issue is that we want double engine government. Issue is development. Issue is fighting against the dynastic group. issue is empowering the poor. Issue is to see to it that Karnataka takes a big leap, and we all know that in past 4.5 years there has been an economic boom in Karnataka itself because of the support of Prime Minister Modi and good work done by Yediyurappa and Bommai. So all these issues have to be taken to the grassroots level now. Number two, that about PFI also, you see, we have tried to see to it that there should be social harmony and no violence, but Congress people have been perpetrating the PFI and organizations like that. So these are the issues which we are going to address to the people, and we are going to get the support of the people.
Prime Minister is in Kochi. Prime Minister is in Kochi. We see there is a big South push. Yesterday Amit Shah was in Telangana.
You see, when Amit Shah ji was the president, he had said that there are areas where we are not, our presence is less. So we have to strategize. And for that, South is an area where Karnataka we have a government. We are all set to do good in Telangana. We will do good in Andhra and Kerala also. So, and in Tamil Nadu also. So there is a strategy under which we are working. And Prime Minister, you see, has been always very active, and he has been involved in all areas where Bharatiya Janata Party or the government needed their support for the people, like mainstreaming of Northeast. Northeast was always ignored. So under his dynamic leadership, he undertook some 50 trips, more than 50 trips to Northeast, and now we are having governments there in Northeast. The same way in South also, there were issues, many issues. The Pan-India party, especially the Congress party, could not deliver the desired things which should have been delivered to the South. But Prime Minister Modi has tried to see to it that there should be a good connect, and the regional aspirations of the people of South India should be brought to the mainstream and work for the people. So that is what we are trying.
What's the number that you have on mind for Karnataka?
You see, we are good, doing good, and we will form the government on our own.
Any number?
I said we'll form the government on our own.
Okay, I'm sure that the Karnataka here, the leaders are pretty sure of over 140 is the number they're thinking.
Certainly, 140 is the number. But I say that we will be having a comfortable majority, and we will be the party ruling here in Karnataka.
So the BJP president there, and also Rahul Gandhi camping in Karnataka, the Congress pulling out all stops on its campaign, where Rahul Gandhi today said that if the Congress comes to power in the centre in 2024, he will not have GST, the goods and service tax, but just one tax.
पहली बार किसानों पर टैक्स लगा है। हिंदुस्तान की हिस्ट्री में पहली बार जीएसटी किसानों पे लगी। जो जीएसटी है वो सिर्फ देश के अमीर लोगों की मदद करने के लिए लगाई गई। 5 अलग-अलग टैक्स, बहुत मतलब कॉम्प्लिकेटेड टैक्स स्ट्रक्चर, ये आधे लोगों को तो समझ नहीं आता ये जीएसटी कैसे भरनी है, कब भरनी है। और जो बड़े बिजनेस होते हैं उनके पास अकाउंटेंट्स होते हैं, जो छोटे बिजनेस होते हैं उनके पास अकाउंटेंट नहीं होते हैं, तो छोटे बिजनेस बंद हो जाते हैं। हमारी सरकार आएगी दिल्ली में तो हम इस जीएसटी को बदलेंगे। एक टैक्स होगा और कम से कम टैक्स होगा।
And Chief Minister of Bihar, Nitish Kumar, leading the bid for opposition unity. Today, he was in 2 state capitals, Kolkata and currently in Lucknow, meeting Mamata Banerjee and ex-UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. Can it happen? Well, Mamata Banerjee made her views clear in the press conference, saying that there should be no ego clash between parties. She's ready to give up her ego, also saying the opposition unity journey should begin from Bihar like the JP movement.
Nitish Kumar and Tejashwi Yadav in Kolkata, then in Lucknow, with the challenging task of bringing opposition parties together. The TMC's Mamata Banerjee and the Samajwadi Party's Akhilesh Yadav have had a frosty relationship with the Congress, viewed as a rival. After the meeting with Mamata Banerjee, which lasted for 45 minutes, the Bengal Chief Minister said there was no ego between opposition parties and the target was to defeat the BJP.
हम तो नीतीश जी को यही रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि नीतीश जी देखिए जयप्रकाश जी का जब मूवमेंट हुआ था बिहार से हुआ था। अगर हम बिहार में और पार्टी मिलके मीटिंग करें, एक पहले घड़वा मीटिंग उसका बाद में तैयार करे, बाद में कहाँ जाना है, कहाँ नहीं जाना है, क्या मैनिफेस्टो है, वो सब बाद में बताएंगे।
तो अच्छी बातचीत हुई है और फिर इसके आगे आवश्यकता अनुसार जब होगा तो हम लोग सब एक साथ और अन्य पार्टियों को सबको एक साथ करके और बैठ करके बातचीत भी करेंगे और आगे के बारे में तय करेंगे। यही बात हुई है।
Nitish Kumar is pitching the one seat, one candidate formula, which can be tricky in Bengal, where both the Congress and the CPIM are bitterly opposed to the Trinamool Congress and are unlikely to concede space, even if it can help in tackling the BJP juggernaut. Can Nitish Kumar broker truce? Mamata Banerjee is hopeful.
पहले एक साथ में एक मैसेज कर देना है कि हम लोग सब एक साथ में है। हम तो पहले से आप लोगों को कह चुका कि हमारा इसमें कोई ऐतराज नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं बीजेपी 0 बन जाए।
From Kolkata to Lucknow, Nitish Kumar also sat down with another politician opposed to an alliance with the Congress, Samajwadi Party's Akhilesh Yadav. Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Bihar together elect 162 MPs.
लगातार गलत आर्थिक नीतियों के कारण किसान, गरीब मजदूर तकलीफ और परेशानी में है, संकट में है। महंगाई चरम सीमा पर है, बेरोजगारी चरम सीमा पर है और इस भारतीय जनता पार्टी को हटाने में हम आप लोगों के साथ हैं।
कोई काम नहीं हो रहा है, सिर्फ प्रचार प्रसार हो रहा है, तो वैसी स्थिति में अधिक से अधिक पार्टियों के साथ बातचीत चल रही है।
The 2024 elections is crucial for several opposition parties, which is why many regional parties, even though they are opposed to the Congress, are willing to consider a larger coalition, including the Congress, provided the Congress itself takes a more accommodative stance. These parties are also open to discussing the Nitish formula of one seat, one opposition candidate. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Meanwhile, in Uttar Pradesh, the big focus now is on local body elections. And there, the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath again reiterated that his government had wiped out the mafia in Uttar Pradesh, saying that now there's no curfew, no danga, everything is changa, which means all right in UP.
No danga, no curfew. यूपी में यानी नो कर्फ्यू, नो दंगा, यूपी में सब चंगा। नो कर्फ्यू, नो दंगा, यूपी में चंगा है ना।
Moving across to what seems to be the political mess in Maharashtra. Patriarch Sharad Pawar said there will be no split in his party, but also a cryptic statement on whether the opposition alliance would fight together in 2024, saying there will be no talk on seat distribution yet. This as ally Sanjay Raut has predicted that the current Sena BJP government won't last for more than 90 days. And the current Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who seems in danger of losing his chair, even if it's within the alliance, says that ask Sharad Pawar what's happening.
नहीं बाकी आता आम्ही एकत्र लढणार वगैरे आघाडी आहे, एकत्र काम करायची इच्छा आहे, पण इच्छा नेहमी पुरेशीच असते. जागांचं वाटतं त्याच्यात काही इश्यू आहेत का नाही ते अजून केलंच नाही, ते कसं सांगता येईल.
आज जो सरकार चल रही है ज़्यादा दिन तक नहीं चलने वाली। बीजेपी नहीं चाहती कि सरकार ज़्यादा दिन चले। जितने दिन ये सरकार सत्ता पे रहेगी बीजेपी खत्म हो जाएगी। बीजेपी को सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान ये सरकार से हो रहा है।
सीएम बदलेंगे या सत्ता जाएगी, आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं?
सीएम बदलना यानी सरकार बदलना ही होता है। जब सीएम बदलते हैं तो समझ लो सरकार बदल जाती है। आप जाकर पूछिए आज के मुख्यमंत्री से कितने तनाव में है, बैठे हैं थाने में जाकर। कोई जाता क्या मंत्रालय में आजकल? आप जाकर पूछिए देवेंद्र जी को क्या हो रहा है।
मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, आदरणीय शरद पवार साहब ये बड़े अनुभवी नेता है। उनका जो वक्तव्य है ये महत्वपूर्ण है और उसको हमेशा जो कहते हैं उसमें गांभीर्य होता है, गंभीरता होती है। इतना ही मैं कहूँगा, जिनको जो सोचना है, समझना है, वो समझ।
In strong words today, the Supreme Court has said that judges who cannot comment in interviews on matters before them, the Supreme Court saying you cannot give interviews on cases being heard before you. The Supreme Court bench led by the Chief Justice said if a judge gives an interview, he then can't participate in proceedings. This came after Calcutta High Court Judge Ganguly had given an interview to a TV channel. The judge had passed orders asking the probe agencies to question Trinamool's Abhishek Banerjee. The big focus? Well, the good news is that there are no heat wave conditions for most of India till next week. And in Assam, after an intense rise in the heat, temperatures are now down. And now, in fact, there are thunderstorms. Schools have reopened. But of course, the bigger worry is that why there's such extremes of temperature within a few days. Look at our climate change focus.
From a spell of heat and above normal temperatures to this, Tinsukia in Assam is reeling from extreme weather in the span of a few days. Fallen trees have blocked the roads, power supply has snapped, schools have been shut for a day. 24-year-old Vikas Prasad and his family of 4 people used to live in this shanty in Lal Bangla area of Tinsukia town. A daily wager, Vikas has lost all his belongings and his dwelling after a tree fell in the storms 2 days back. The family escaped miraculously unhurt.
घर सारा टूट गया है, सारा गाछ से चपटा हो गया है और हम लोग का पास रहने उन्ने का कुछ भी ये साधन नहीं है, खाने पीने का कुछ भी नहीं है। ऊपर अपनी असम में भी बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी हो रहा है, इसलिए हम लोग का काम करने के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है और रोजी रोटी के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा ये दिक्कत है।
All the lifeline roads to Tinsukia town was snapped due to felling of trees, and throughout the night operations went on. Current challenge is how to restore the electricity, especially in the town areas. Hailstorm has been commonplace in the district since the last couple of months.
Only last week, parts of northeast India had faced extreme rise in temperatures and heat wave-like conditions. And this week, many parts of the region are facing nature's fury once again. Thunderstorms and hailstorms have hit life in Assam, Mizoram, Tripura and Manipur. The worst hit is Upper Assam, the district of Tinsukia, where there has been loss of life, property and livelihood. And experts attribute this to climate change. Climate researchers see this as an impact of climate change.
Before this, not appearance of these thunderstorms were mostly due to lack of western disturbances. But last few days heat, it just created the conditions. And there were moisture, and we have the Himalayas to the north and to the east, and then you have the eastern hills. All put together, it was very normal for thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms to occur at this point of time.
Tinsukia is listed among 25 districts in the country as most vulnerable to climate change in this decade, in a joint study by IIT Mandi and Guwahati and IIS Bengaluru. And it seems that change is here for all to see. With Nakul Rabha in Guwahati and camera person Sanjay Chakravarti in Tinsukia, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.